You've been raining terror, stroking our fears from deep in your lair. We're here to tell you that your time has come. This is our kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who dare threaten you.
We have no fear of your ancient power. Your rotten fire will not make us cower. We're here to tell you that the spells are cast. You will not last the night.
You are the fools who will now feel my wrath.
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who now will fight back.
Quick, grab the magic bow. All distracted. You'll never defeat me, dragon.
Prepare to meet your doom.
Dragon can fall. We slay him with our mighty swords. Dragon can fall. His heart will now be ours. Dragon can fall. He was the beast we're training for.
We are the party who claim victory.
From the depths of the dungeons to the tavern brawls, save the king, killed a giant. We've been through it all. I could fill up a tome, but you're not coming home. Well, we all saw it happen. We're the ones you saved. Gonna light you a candle. Gonna tell your tale by the light of the moon. We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. On that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Our adventures together went to hell and back. Spent the day slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying a hero. casters. Time to roll, have a good time, but don't burn down the tavern. Let's burn down the tavern. Time for total party chill. There's a critical hit, critical fail. Hold your head, see that dragon, we can slay it. And we'll level up all night till we get to that big bad evil guy.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for all y'all. Welcome back. Happy New Year. It's been so long since I've seen all of you. We're gotten to do one of these with all of you. We are, what is it? We're talking social media for professional GMs today. And we got some new stuff we're going to be talking about. We're going to be going over some videos that some folks posted. And then we're also going to be talking about passive presence, which is, I think, particularly important for professional GMs. So let's go ahead and start this off. Let me pull up Discord and find all the posts that people had tagged me in. Go back up there till we had that. And we'll start going over those videos. Okay. First one by the nephew. Let's go ahead and pull up this link. Right. All right, pause this real quick. Go ahead and share it. I hope you're all having a fantastic day too. Happy New Year's. Let's see, we want to capture. Yep, that's the one, okay. All right. There we go. Put this right here. All right, let's give it a look.
My number one GM tip: create small moments.
Oh, first that flashing while you're talking, you talking in the bottom and content on top, really good. You're creating a lot of visual visual diversity, I guess is what I would call it.
Moments that resonate with your characters. Use the mechanics of their character sheet, especially mechanics they're really proud of. Then, after this moment, ask them how that moment made their character feel. Starting with these small moments gets your players used to thinking about how their characters react to the world around them and how the world reacts to them.
Ah, great stuff.
And that's why.
And you made it a good looping one. Celtic to nephew. Round of applause. That's a great.
My number one GM tip: create small moments that resonate with your characters. Use them.
And this did pretty well. Looking at it, 6 comments, 60 likes, 8 saves, 2 shares. Yeah, this is fantastic. I don't really have many notes on this. One of the big things I've wanted to say is I've seen so many of the GMs who are participating in this. Their videos are getting more and more views, and one of the big things it is just committing to doing it. That's really all it is. And I think a lot of you have noticed this. Is just if you just commit and start doing it, it doesn't have to be perfect, but committing to doing it, like, you get better and you see results. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Cousin Nephew. I don't have any notes for you on that one. But here is GM Blog. All right.
Spice up your D&D game by adding elements from different type of RPGs. Choose Word of Darkness, Monster of the Week, Candela Obscura. So many games. Spice up your D&D game by adding elements from different type of RPGs. Choose Word of Darkness, Monster of the Week, Candela Obscura. So many games you can play. All these types of things add flavor to your D&D game. I love the engagement roll from Girl by Moonlight, where a roll of dice determines if they find a situation in a good for them, bad for them, horrible for the world situation. What's one mechanic you've taken from another game, poured it into D&D that you love?
Really good. I think the only notes I would give to Matt here is I would make it a little tighter. I would talk about maybe another like one or two more mechanics in this rather than like if we get to the very beginning again.
Spice up your D&D game by adding elements from different type of RPGs. Choose Word of Darkness, Monster of the Week, Candela Obscura. So many games you can play. All these types of things add flavor to your D&D game.
I would cut that out and I would instead add in like another example. But this is really good. You see that there's a lot of visual changes where Matt is essentially changing the perspective of the camera. Some other things you could have done is you could have also thrown up some visuals of the different books that kind of stacked on top, maybe overlays. But this is, again, a really good video. It's talking about interesting mechanic. It's also having a comment, it prompts you to comment your favorite mechanics. Let's see, do we get some of those? I love character connection rules. I do like the Armageddon dice. Okay, see, yeah, this is great. Yeah, the hat does feel very branded. You know, what you'll see a lot of people do is they have, you know, they'll say the same thing. Some of the people in this mastermind have also been like, you know, they have a branded phrase. You know, branded phrase, brand look is completely fine. You know, I think that helps quickly associate people with your brand. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, Crystal.
You can make it so much easier to bring in new players or communicate to your group just by creating a live web dashboard. Here you'll keep invite links, character creation rules, lore, maps, house rules, sensitive content, and more. This is a great way to hold notes like level up by next session or it's Jack's turn to buy snack. You can do all this easily with Notion. I use it for all my campaign notes. Publishing just one page to the web, visible only to those that you give the link to, is easy. Check the description for the link.
Okay, this is pretty good. I mean, this is
You can
really
make
good
it so much easier to bring in new players or communicate to your group just by creating a live web dashboard.
But here's the thing: it took 5 seconds to us know what the video was about. If we could have shortened that, like this is. I don't know how we would say this differently, but we can start brainstorming it. But in chat, if you have some ideas, how would you say the hook of this video differently? Because that's really what I would change here is the hook. Let's see. Let's listen to it again.
You can make it so much easier to bring in new players or communicate to your group just by creating a live web dashboard.
So bringing new players, that's only applicable to pro GMs, maybe some casual players, but people might not grab that right away. If you want to hit players with this and you want them to be in your game, like my players love this, is maybe a different hook you could have done. But I would have changed the hook a little bit.
Dashboard. Here you'll keep invite links, character creation rules, lore, maps.
So I would have, when you say character creation rules, I would have shown a screenshot of that page, and then I would have showed a screenshot of maps, and I would actually be showing the screenshots of that part of the Notion.
House rules,
when
sensitive content, and more. This is a great way to hold notes like level up by next session or it's Jack's turn to buy snack. You can do all this easily with Notion. I use it for all my campaign notes. Publishing just one page to the web, visible only to those that you give the link to, is easy.
Now that last part, like publishing it to the web, I don't know if that's necessary. You probably could have found like something else to use that little bit of time with. But the idea of here's the hook, here's what I do, then I show you what it looks like, and then I tell you how easy it is. That's a really great structure for this video. I probably would just change the hook. Like we got someone in chat here. Make communication easy for your game. Oh, that's a good one. Hope you're a passenger. Oh, that's not for that. A live web dashboard makes GM and player communication easy. Yeah, I think we could say like this is why. Let's see. This one app makes it so much easier to run my games. This one app, you know, this one piece of software that might get people, you know, because every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, what is it? I always want to know what the new software is. But Crystal, again, we're seeing everyone use all the right kind of arcs here. We people putting, like actual video to production. Like everyone is getting so much better from when they first started. Okay. We got Ethan. Boom. Man.
If you want to be a better dungeon master, you have to realize how people are having fun or what they're enjoying in your game. If you think people come to D&D just to role play and express themselves or fully flesh out their characters, then you'll never think about challenge as an avenue for improving your game mastery. Once you learn that and you start paying attention to your players, then that's when you'll know all these different dials that you need to turn to improve your game mastery. And then if you can combine that with something like Stars and Wishes, where the players tell you, this is my favorite moment of the game, and this is what I hope happens next game, then you can really have that context and that framework to start changing things and improving your D&D game.
Great video. Let's go and see what we got. We had right here. There's a comment. You can't see it because of how I clipped this. But someone said, I think the most challenging part is like when you have a game with different groups of people. Like someone really likes combat, someone really likes exploration, and like how to make that work. Which is a great opportunity to reply to that video talking about how, as a pro GM, you're able to balance that type of group. The video itself is really
If you
good.
want to be
You see, there's that visual, the visual hook where it kind of we blend in. You see that right
if you want to be a better dungeon master, you have to realize
I mean, this video is talking to dungeon masters, right? Good DM tip. It's very clear. It's for dungeon masters.
how people are having fun or what they're enjoying in your game. If you think people come to D&D just to role play and express themselves or fully flesh out their characters, then you'll never think about challenge as an avenue.
So we see another visual trick there where it's slowly moving in and then it comes back out again.
For improving your game mastery. Once you learn that and you start paying
It also looks really authentic because they're just holding a giant mic as they talk, right?
attention to your players, then that's when you'll know all these different dials that you need to turn to improve your game mastery. And then if you can combine that with something like Stars and Wishes, where the players tell you, this is my favorite moment of the game, and this is what I hope happens next game, then you can really have that context and that framework to start changing things and improving your D&D game.
Oh, that's great. We got 8 shares here. We got 8 favorites, 3 comments, 55 hearts. This is great. Oh, my audio is really low. Okay, I can turn it up a little bit. How about is that better? Yeah, I think this is good. Let's go ahead. And you guys let me know if I'm too loud now. And then, so with this, like, this is the right, this is the right approach. The video's great. Now it's just like, hey, what resonates with my audience? And keep making content and trying to figure it out. And so one thing you can do is you can actually keep a spreadsheet of like when you post and what the whole vibe of that post was, and then how well it did 7 days later. And start to kind of figure out what the trend is. And we can talk about that later. We'll probably talk about that, tracking your performance of the next one. But let's go ahead and look at another video. This one is from GM Chris. Let's do Dreams first because it's also on TikTok.
Make sure that you are having fun. A GM is a player as well. And if the GM's not having fun, nobody's having fun. If you have passion and energy, on the other hand, it'll definitely show. And your players will feel energized as well.
Okay, so I think
Make sure
we have we start hearing the audio about a second in, so I think we could have clipped that so we started a little faster. And we don't know in the first line that this is to GMs.
make sure that you are having fun.
Make sure that you are having fun. If I'm just scrolling around and I see this, I don't know it's about me, I don't know it's about GMs, so a title could have really helped here.
A GM is a player as well.
And I'd probably say a game master is a player. That's semantics. If you are a GM, you probably already know it. But if you had something else that stipulated like that we're talking about tabletop role-playing games rather than general manager, I maybe recommend that.
Make sure that you are having fun. A GM is a player as well. And if the GM's not having fun, nobody's having fun. If you have passion and
I think players...
energy on the
and you also just a little funkiness
on the other hand, it'll definitely show. And your players will feel energized as well.
It's a good tip. I feel we could have added a little more visual differences here. Start off right at the bat, make sure that we know we're talking about GMs. And the clip text, no biggie. Let's see. Okay, Instagram. All right, we got another one. Cassidy.
What's one good piece of advice that you could give to any GM. Listen. Listen to your players. Listen what's being said at the table. Listen to what the PCs are saying.
Okay, so we got to the hook of the video 11 seconds in.
What's one good piece of advice that you could give to any GM? Listen. Listen to your players.
So you could have said, Game Masters, listen to your play. I would have started right with that.
Listen what's being said at the table. Listen to what the PCs are saying. Hell, listen to what your NPCs are saying. Most of all, listen to that little voice inside your head that says, this idea is a good one. Good idea? Bad idea? Who cares? You're the one behind the screen.
So that's what I probably would have recommended. We took a little too long to get to the actual hook. Because we don't want to say, I'm going to give you a GM tip. That's good for long form when we're saying that. Like, I'm going to say what it is. Instead, get right to media res. Start with the action. So what is the tip? Listen to your players. That's what a good game master does. You can even establish that it's about game masters right after you say, listen to your players. Okay, let's see what else we got. 30-second.
Tell your players no.
Can I tame the dragon?
No, but you could try to distract them.
I'd like to seduce the king.
No, but you may be able to persuade him.
I stab the shopkeeper.
You could, but you suddenly think better of it. You don't have to say yes to every idea or plan. Saying no creates boundaries, forces creativity, keeps the game balanced. If everything is possible, nothing is earned. No challenges your players to think outside of the box. What's the funniest or wildest thing you've ever had to say no to?
Okay.
Tell your
I am Paul Russ. Paul Russ, very good job. This is a great hook. It's controversial. Like, wait, what? Say no to your players. What does that mean? This is a fantastic hook. And then it's also really good advice. And we can see here when we look at the video did very well. The video did, 155 likes, 22 comments, 9 saves, 10 shares. This is a really good video. I am Paul Russ. Rock and roll. You did a great job here. This is I think the only thing you could have made a little tighter is the end where you ask for comments. Like, tell me what you said no. Tell me the last time you said no. You could have made that a little tighter, but that's just semantics, right? We're being nitpicky at that point. This is a great video. Okay, let's see. YouTube. All right. TikTok. All right.
Dungeon Master tip of the day. Prepare more than you need, but keep it flexible. Prepare a couple of...
All right, so what I would have done here instead is I would have started with that hook of what you say...
but keep it flexible. Prepare tip of the day. Prepare
more than you need.
More than you need, but keep it flexible.
And then it was a Dungeon Master tip of the day. This is the Dungeon Master tip of the day. Because then you get right to the action, then you explain what we're talking about.
Prepare a couple extra NPC names,
but
encounter ideas,
nitpicky.
and locations. If you're using a VTT, prepare a couple extra maps off to the side. Don't over-prepare complicated plots. Instead, have loose outlines that let you respond organically to whatever your players do. Drop some of your favorite DM tips below.
Okay, this is great. I think if we maybe would have changed that very beginning, but
tip of the day. Prepare more than you need.
See the little visual sticker that showed up too?
But keep it flexible. Prepare a couple extra NPC names, encounter ideas, and locations.
So what you could have done though, you could have expanded, you could have made more use out of this if you had focused on one part of preparing more than you need. So if you said prepare more than you need, and then you just focus on NPCs, I think the video would have offered a little bit more juice for the squeeze. But generally, this is pretty good. But it's really hard to get 30 seconds of 30 seconds to get across like a very meaningful idea, and that's why the challenge is.
If you're using a VTT, prepare a couple extra maps off to the side. Don't over-prepare complicated plots. Instead, have loose outlines that let you respond organically.
So, because we talked about like more maps, more NPCs, we talked about a lot of things. I would have focused on one thing. So, like if it's with VTTs, I would just focus on VTTs. Like have 6 other maps ready, something like that you can really drill into. Okay, and then we have. Nico's also YouTube. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, okay. So now we will go to YouTube videos.
Become a better DM with this one simple trick.
Okay, we got to change the layout for YouTube. Boop, boop, boop. All right, there we go.
Become a better DM with this one simple trick. Communicate. I don't know what my players want. Communicate. My DM keeps communicate. There's another player. Communicate. It really bothers me. Communicate. My best friend. Communicate. My what? Communicate. So many problems at a table can be completely avoided if people just communicated. Everybody else in your party has magical items and you don't? Communicate that. You're a DM and you've been putting a ton of work in and nobody seems to appreciate it? Communicate that. Oh, you don't like my circlet? Go f yourself. I'm Nico the Guy and this has been Spicy Dice.
All right, this is great. This is really good. It's a very funny video as well. Nico, very good job. But this is also like, this really hits home because every time I do a panel or I'm giving DM or GM advice or gaming advice, it always boils down to communication. And so like this hit feels very relevant when I watch this. So I really like it. But I mean, this video did great. This, you can see here, look at the stats, 492. It's probably a few thousand views. I can't see views from here, but this is great. 31 comments. This is fantastic. Watch this again, right?
Become a better DM with this one simple trick.
Right, so it kind of leads you in with like, this is going to be cheesy.
Become a better DM with this one simple trick. Communicate. I don't know what my players want. Communicate. My DM keeps communicate. There's another.
It's all these things we've heard before, and it just keeps going back to the same point. And then we go and we have some time where we explain it. This is a great video. Crushed it. Like this, keep making stuff like this, and you're gonna flourish on social media. I have very little notes for you. This is really good stuff. Let's see. That's Rhett. We got next is Dungeoneer 80. This is the video I want to review. Okay.
Game masters often put so much pressure on themselves to be perfect.
I am the perfect and all-knowing dungeon master.
It's not about being perfect, it's about having fun. You want a vibe where anyone can just take risks. And you want to do things that are exciting for you, because ultimately, it's your joy that's going to set the tone in the game.
You must be the wave you wish to see in the world, so get your geek on.
Game masters often put so much pressure on themselves.
I think what would have helped here is when I think about putting pressure on myself as a GM, I don't see myself as this. I would have maybe visualized the stressed GM that's trying to do everything perfect, right? They're like, I need to find a map for this sewer. It has to be like the kind of stressed out GM, because that's what we're trying to avoid, right? And I don't think a lot of us that are trying to be the perfect GM visualize ourselves as this holy symbol, right? So this is more like a narrative insight, but it's a really good point, right? Like there's a lot of times we try to be perfectionists as GMs.
To be perfect.
I am the perfect and all-knowing dungeon.
Having fun. You want a vibe where anyone can just take risks. And you want to do things that are exciting for you, because ultimately it's your joy that's going to set the tone in the game.
So I would reverse that. I'm like, you being happy is what's going to set the tone of the game. I think if you had set that, I think that kind of hits a little bit harder at the very end here.
You must be the wave you wish to see in the world.
And of course, with my suggestion, you wouldn't have this last part, but leading on the like, you set the tone for the game, so you having fun means that your players have fun. And then I think maybe even if we wanted to get more people commenting on this, because that drives up our engagement, is like, what was the last thing that you over prepared, or what was the last thing that you over analyzed, or something where if you are a GM and you felt this way, you can then express like when it's happened to you. Okay, we got Alex Lawyer.
In games that don't have a combat focus, but where you still need a climax, I recommend giving your players a difficult choice. Build up your central conflict, make sure that your players are invested in it. Then present different ways of resolving that conflict with different consequences. See the weight of their stake in the world and the story all begin to collapse in on them, and make this not a test of arms, but of character. In games that don't have a combat focus, but where you still need a climax, I recommend giving...
So...
In games that don't have a combat focus, but where you still need a climax...
We're 4 seconds in, almost 5. If we could have shortened this, I think that would have helped. Because it's a very complex idea, right? The idea is like, there's no combat. What's the climax, right? I think we could have found something a little more punchier for the hook here. What you're doing with yourself on the bottom, and then you got the visuals that are kind of demonstrating what you're talking about. It's really, really good. I would have added captions here. These are the auto captions I think that I have on just because of YouTube, but I would have added some captions that would have followed along.
I recommend giving your players a difficult choice. Build up your set.
I would have maybe offered what are the difficult choices, because if you're giving a good GM advice, one of the best things is like examples is really what I think a lot of people lean towards. And if you give a great example, that's going to help people like resonate with the idea.
Central conflict. Make sure that your players are invested in it. Then present different ways of resolving that conflict with different consequences. See the weight of their stake in the world and the story all begin to collapse in on them, and make this not a test of arms, but of character.
I really like that last bit. A test of not a test of arms, but a test of character. That's a really good ending line. So that's what I would work on the hooks. You know, really refine those. I think that would help a lot, and then start using the caption feature from CapCut or anywhere. All right, let's see. What else do we have? We got Dragon of Dice.
Make random tables for your TTRPG campaigns. Party just roll into town and you need 3 new NPCs, grab a few dice, and boom, you'll have fully outlined NPCs at the ready. Can't decide what downtime activity you want to do with your PC? Write a few options down and roll away. Need an environment? Boom, now you've got a swamp loaded with undead sprites and a black dragon lurking in the muck. Need a store? Welcome to Missour's Wonders Shop. Now get out there and make some more random tables. Make random tables for your TTRPG campaigns. Party just roll into town and you need 3 new NPCs, grab a few dice, and boom, you'll have...
So, with this is so much better from the very beginning. I think what I would have done here is I would have added even more visual cues. Every sentence you could probably add a new visual. It's also really hard if you're brand new to making tables. This is more almost like an idea of like use random tables rather than make random tables, because the advice is really about like random tables allow you to do rather than making random tables. So you might want to like reframe a post like this, like random tables will make your game better, make your game easier, make your game faster.
Fully outlined NPCs at the ready. Can't decide what...
But like also like how's a random like if it's a good piece of advice, I might not know how does a random table make my make it easier for me to have NPCs. Think about it this way: if this advice is for a GM, think about the GM that doesn't know about random tables, right? Because most of the pro GMs, we know how to use random tables, we know how they make them better. But if I don't understand that, this doesn't help me get me there yet. So I would have made that tweak to it to focus on the use of random tables rather than making random tables. And then, of course, even more visual diversity. Fantastic. Okay, let's see. We got Sue-Ann. All right. Let's see. We got to move Sue-Ann over. Here we go. All right. Oh.
Games to the next level.
All right, let's try this again.
To take your role-playing games to the next level. Use music to set the tone. Eerie dungeon. Try low droning sounds. A bustling tavern. Go for upbeat and lively tunes. Think of it like a painting. Many layers. Music and background sounds.
And down below, I share some of my favorite tools to make this as easy as possible.
So I think this video would even hit harder if you talked about the tools, because they lot of people, like I think like when people love hearing about tools. I think that would have helped a lot here. I think the fact that you had the title up here, really, really good.
Thing to take your role-playing games to the next level. Use me.
So again, we had like maybe 3-4 seconds before the hook. Like we were talking about taking things to the next level, rather than you should have started with use music in your games to take them to the next level, because then we're talking about the actual idea.
To set the tone. Eerie dungeon. Try low droning sounds. A bustling tavern. Go for upbeat and lively tunes. Think of it like a painting. Many layers. Music and background sounds.
And down below, I share some of my favorite tools to make this as easy as possible.
So that's what I would have actually talked about the tools in the very end of that. We take it from Mr. Nugget. Music isn't the only background. From Hunting Soundscapes, Kenku FM, soundboard, BBC Sounds. Oh my gosh, you could literally make, Kevin MacLeod, BBC Sounds, and Kenku FM. That's 3 fantastic video ideas right there. Okay, let's see. We got Dreams. Dreams is up. Oh no, we
make sure that.
Sorry. Jim Chris.
I'm going to tell you how to build a town on it simply. Hopefully by the end of the video, I'm going to tell you how to build a town on it simply. Hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a good place to start. I'm going to tell you how to build a town on it simply. Hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a good place to start. Here's tip number 8 for new GMs. Locations inside the town, of course, you've got taverns and stores.
See what Jim Chris said there? They had the hook, and then afterwards they told you this is like tip number whatever. Now, another way you can do that is you can get rid of that, and you could just have that as part of the title, right? Because then you're saving yourself another 3-4 seconds of video time.
But you need unique locations for the party to explore as well, similar to like a mayor's mansion. Depending on how important the town is to your adventure, you may want to go deep on the history or stay light. Have enough so that you can improvise without an issue. Optionally, you can include a problem, maybe to prompt the party. Like maybe the sheep go missing in the Northern Valley. Or maybe the town's got a dark secret.
So this doesn't actually tell us how to build out a town simply. It is like the hook itself is really good. Like I want to know how to do this, right? So if you had said like, start with a place where people gather, and then start like, and then if you ask the question like, who leads the town? Do they need a play? Like some of those questions that prompt you on how to fill out a town is good, but this is a little more advanced advice, right? Because in most advanced GMs, like they know how to build out a town, right, or a village, but this also
I'm
says,
going to tell you how to build a town out simply.
How to build a town out simply, right? But the caption is how to make a town memorable, right? So, the caption could be like, how to make your settlements come to life in your D&D games and your tabletop games, something like that. So I think the hook and then the content are kind of at a mismatch. And we think about like, imagine what is the thing that people are getting here, right? What is the actual value? And if you were to say like, here's like, there's this resource that you can roll to create a new town if you need help with it. Or here are 6 questions to ask when building out your village. We got a question in the chat. Do one word at a time captions like that actually do well? I find the quick change hard to read, but I know that I'm not the target audience. I mean, listen, think about who your target audience is, right? Not you being the target audience, but do you think the players that play in your games, that's the kind of stuff that they would want to see. But it's it's different for everyone. Like sometimes I use those, sometimes I don't. Sometimes they look cheesy. I think the thing is you just kind of find something that you like and that you feel like your audience resonates with. But there's no like exact answer of like what the best type of captions are to use. All right, let's see. Did these ones? Oh, is that it? I think we might have gotten everyone's. Jim Chris. Oh, nope. Different. Just the Jim Chris. Let's see. I'm not tagged in anything else. Okay, cool. We can move on to some other stuff. Great stuff, team. All right. Now we are going to talk about, let me pull up my notes. We're going to talk about passive presence. Grendy, I mean, the idea is your content is serves multiple reasons. Do you want your content to help you be a creator that maybe gets you free content from publishers, right? Do you want your content to hopefully maybe be another form of revenue where you create content and you get sponsored for stuff, right? Promoting people's Kickstarters, etc. Or do you want your social media presence to help attract players? Think about the content you make and who you're making that for. The last thing we just did, we were doing content for, hey, we are trying to make content that is a DM tip, because that was kind of the prompt. And it was more about like practice than it was strategy that I think people should employ. But at the same time, if people, well, now we're going to get to passive presence, right? Which is a separate from short form. It's kind of the same, but let me show you this. So here's my phone, right? And you can see that one says like how to find D&D. I'm gonna click that. How to find D&D group. Okay. And here are the responses. Start playing content, right? Start playing content. Start playing content. Start playing content. Start playing content. If you that's because we target certain keywords in TikTok. So, I forgot. I always forget the mic's over here. So, team, what I was saying is I was showing that all the results on the Find It D&D game when I searched on TikTok were a bunch of results that were start playing videos or sponsored start playing videos. So, like creators that were talking about us or our direct videos. And the reason we do that is we've actually targeted certain captions because a large number of Gen Z are using TikTok instead of Google to search for things. So instead of like, hey, what's a good restaurant in New York? They will say, cool restaurant, Lower East Side, or, Lower East Side restaurants. And then they'll look through a bunch of videos of people at those places. People are doing the same thing for services, same thing for solutions. And so we know that what we do is we go and we look at a bunch of, what I did is I went and I looked at a bunch of search terms that are very, very highly, very popular on, what is it? No, I don't want to answer that phone call. Oh, no. So we look on like Google search terms, right? And we look at a bunch of terms and we're like, okay, we can assume that these terms are also being searched on TikTok. And so we try to find some that we want to target. And then when we work with creators, we say, hey, can you make sure the caption includes this phrase? Or when we create content, we make sure we include X phrase in the video. And then the videos that do really well have that caption in there. So when people search Find D&D Game, Professional Dungeon Master, things like that, we end up showing up. And so that is a way to do passive presence. Now, let's say you're a fantastic Vampire the Masquerade game master, storyteller, making videos about Vampire the Masquerade and that talk about finding a Vampire the Masquerade group or playing Vampire the Masquerade for the first time, or things like that, and having a caption, not a hashtag, a caption that includes that, in the video description. That's what I mean by caption, not like subtitles. That is great passive presence that you will have on TikTok, Instagram, things like that. Think about what people would search, and if you're trying to create videos for those people, you want to have that in the caption. So let's let's see, play D&D online. Okay, so I searched play D&D online. And one of the top videos, of course, is, you can't see from here, is Diana talking about our starter set, right? If we keep going, we have 2 more Diana videos that show up. If I keep going, we have, then we have one of Dice Cream. And of course, the thing is like, these will all be different for everyone, right? But the presence is large enough that we see a constant flow of people that are finding us because of these old videos. If I look at my TikTok account or the Start Playing TikTok account, I am seeing these videos get liked every day. I'm seeing new followers come to us every day because they're stumbling across these videos. Now, you won't get thousands of views on these videos every day, 6 months after you post them. You'll get 1 to 10 maybe, and then 1 like, and then 1 follow. So this passive presence helps you in the long term. It's what a lot of people call in search engine optimization, long tail keywords, right? So this is like these long tail search terms because they're so specific. You're putting those in the captions, people are going to come across that, and it's not going to drive thousands of players or thousands of people to you. It'll drive 1. But if you have enough content, that 1 becomes 100. So, we grow maybe between like 500 to 1,000 followers. I mean, a minimum a month because of just our old videos. So if you are continuing to make content and you have the right captions, you think about what would my player or what would the person I want to watch my content search for, that's really, really good. So continue to kind of make content like that and knowing that you want to be very descriptive in your captions. How to overcome the saturation of established there's no such thing as saturation. Everything is it's because you are making content doesn't mean you can't come in because people are already making content. I used to think about this all the time. This is a really great question, Grandy. I was always like, man, nobody needs DM advice. And I keep seeing people make DM advice videos and it keeps getting views because new people come in and want DM advice. There's always going to be a need for it. I was watching a guy talk about closing, how to be a great GM thing because, he was talking about there's so many GM advice channels, but they keep coming up and they keep seeing them, increase in views because new people keep coming into the hobby. New people keep exploring it. There's people that are in D&D, right? They've never heard of Matt Colville. They've never watched a Matt Colville video and they stumble across it and they're excited. That's great, right? So there's always going to be room for content. All right, let's, okay, so we just talked about passive presence on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, right? These are great places to have that passive. TikTok is especially valuable for this. But now let's talk about passive presence on other places. So let's talk about passive presence on X, Threads, things like that. Threads and in Blue Sky aren't incredibly web, right? Because they're brand new. Those are good places to seek out conversations to have. And what I mean by that is if I go ahead and let's see if I can find this. All right, let's go ahead and okay. Let me go ahead and show you this. We're going to use X, aka Twitter, as an example here. So went and I hit find. That's what I have at the search tab. If I actually scroll up a little more here. So what I'm doing here, this isn't passive. This is actually conversations to be a part of. Twitter is a kind of a tough place for passive interaction. But if you're on short form, text, Threads, Blue Sky, look for conversations, right? And you can look for conversations you want to be a part of with things like find a D&D group. And now I'm looking at the latest conversation. So I'm looking at all these people that are, Doc Respawn, new goal for 2025, find a dedicated D&D or 40K group to play with once a week. That's a great piece of content that we can comment on, right? Let's see, what's this one? What are your tabletop gaming resolutions for next year? I'm going to try to join a D&D game at MegaCon this year. I can get over my shyness. Goals for 2025, save up money I need to move abroad, run a D&D campaign for VooTubers. One day I'll find a D&D group, Trust. This is a great, if I was a DM and I want to interact, I would interact with hey, here's some great places you can find a D&D group. And you could say I run Pro D&D, but you can also go to your local library. You can also check out, these forums here. You are then giving a solution to someone, right? That content will come across other people's feeds. But you are now the person who is a person of authority who's giving a solution and you're giving information. That not only makes you an authority, but that also makes it this is a kind of person I want to follow because they are giving insight. They are giving information. You don't just sell yourself. You just sell hey, here are some solutions. I'm a pro GM. I run games here, but here's a bunch of other places you can go. Because some people that start playing are going to be oh, this just makes it easy. There are people that don't want that, right? But this way, someone else might come across that because you've shared it, someone else liked it. And then as people are coming across, like, oh, this is cool. They're a pro GM. Let me check them out. Now, I still get people messaging me because they found this. This is the Beholder. I made this 5 years ago. I still get people messaging me on Reddit or finding Total Party Chill through this post about the Beholder. It's so funny. I made a few different ones of the Beholder, but this stuff still to this day brings people to Total Party Chill. Reddit is a fantastic place for passive presence. Now, I don't mean go post in an LFG about you as about your upcoming game. That won't have a lot of passive presence. What will is if you're talking about like, hey, this is how, if you talk about how your campaign ended with your pro group, right? And you talk about like, this is one of the best campaigns ever. Or if you say like, hey, as a pro GM, here's the 10 tools I use. That's a great post. Think about stuff that you could post that you think will has a long lifetime, but also it would be something that would draw on players. So, like I said, like the tech I use as a professional GM, following all the different subreddits and literally just trying to find things that you can answer and be an expert in. If you run your games on Foundry, I bet you're probably already in the Foundry subreddit. But being an authority and a voice there will lead to people finding you. So if you're like Grandy was talking about, like, should we be DM focused or player focused? If you want to just get players interested in your games passively, where you just do a few things, and then this will probably net you, 5 to 20 customers a year if you get enough content that is interesting to them, because they will stumble across you here. And so that's something to keep in mind. Again, it's so crazy how some of my Reddit stuff to this day is still driving people to my channels or my stores. Do we have any questions at this point too? Dreams Gone, what is Threads? Threads is Instagram's version of Twitter. It's Threads, it's Blue Sky. There's another one. But those are great places to seek out conversations that you want to be a part of. But I would say, like, seek them out. Like, put in the search term what you're looking for. Find recent conversations that are using those search terms. Like, find a D&D group. Find a Vampire the Masquerade group. Find a Pathfinder 2e group. And then, engage in those. And another thing is like, you could another great Reddit post is like, I've rated the top 5 homebrew classes that players have brought to me this year. There's all kinds of like funny content that you can create around that also just engages like, hey, I'm a pro GM. This is just me talking about my life. I'm not here to sell you. I'm just talking about my games. But that's what sells people. They'll sit there, they'll read this post like, wow, this person sounds fun. I like how they approach it. I want to play with them. See, question. I feel like people's audio is coming through much clearer than mine, even though when recorded on a phone. Do you have any tips for improving that? What type of phone are you using? Yeah, Squirrel's making a list on Blue Sky. But one of the this week's homework, and we're keeping it light because I know that the holidays have just ended. I want people to come up with 2 things that they can search on short form text like Threads, Twitter, Blue Sky, etc. that they could search for that are terms they can search for to interact with. So that is like, Vampire the Masquerade homebrew, or find a D&D game. It could be, if everyone uses find a D&D game, that's fine. But I want you to think about things you could search up on those channels to find conversations to be a part of. Let's see. Moto G5S, I think, definitely Moto. It might be related to the phone. What you could do, there is some pretty inexpensive, probably in the actually inexpensive is relative, but in the $30 to $40 range, mics that you can actually plug into the bottom of your phone to make a lavalier mic, that is definitely an option. If you have headphones that have a mic that attached to them, I would also try that out and see which sounds better. Because if you already have something that plugs into the phone, maybe try using that. And then maybe search your phone and search like improve audio on Google and see if there is like maybe some different settings that you need to switch on that would help with your audio. That's the things I would recommend. And the reason why like I was really pushing everyone to make their content on their phone is because you can make the content the fastest and edit the fastest if you get very good on your phone rather than doing it on your computer, record it on your computer, editing it. It's going to take a lot more time. I want people getting so fast at creating the content that they can create 5 pieces of content for the week within 2 hours just on their phone rather than having to spend 6 hours making content on their computer, because that's what's going to lead to burnout and not wanting to do this. Everyone who's been committed to like we definitely seen some drop off. Some people that didn't continue into the next stage, but the people who had are seeing success. They're seeing themselves grow as their brand online, right? And it really is just putting video to publish, right? It's just publishing those videos, continuing to keep it up. And then I see everyone also like realizing what they are doing better, what they could do better. You're talking to each other, you're giving each other insight and advice. It's working really, really well. Is there a recommended number of seconds a screenshot like my Notion ones should remain on the screen? 1 per sentence, 1 screenshot per sentence is probably what I would recommend to keep visual engagement if you're using a still image. Now, I would say maybe 2 sentences if you were adding motion to the images. Motion is like, let me see. Okay, here's a good example of motion. Okay, so this is a bunch of screenshots. All right, so you see right here, it's one image, but the camera is moving across the image, right? And you could do this in CapCut pretty easy. This is just a video I have really easy to reference right here. But like here's another version of motion. If I hit play, it zooms into the image. So using motion can allow you to use less screenshots. Now, for something like Notion, I wouldn't say motion is as helpful, but if you're using graphics, motion is great. If you want to extend the time that an image is on screen, because you have an image, but you also have motion to that image. If you're using just a static image, then I would recommend like 1 every sentence. Is cross-posting video to TikTok, YouTube, Facebook a beneficial strategy? Absolutely. Here's the thing. It's not the best strategy, but there is something to the idea is if something is worth doing, it's also worth half-assing. Because if something is worth doing, then it means that it's detrimental to not do it at all, to not half-ass it, to not even, to no ass it, right? So while if you focus on one platform, you say, hey, I'm going to focus on TikTok, right? And you focus on TikTok and you just repost it to other channels, your other channels won't be as successful as TikTok, but they will still grow and you will still have a presence there. And so I definitely think it's beneficial to cross-post. But I won't say like you will succeed in every channel by doing this. You will have moderate success probably, but sometimes stuff I post on my TikTok fucking sucks. It just does gangbusters on Instagram. So, cross-posting is beneficial because it's low effort and the reward could be high. And if the reward is low, that's fine because the input was low. And that's some of the best outcome, right? Low effort, high reward, right? And so Short form video doesn't need to be incredibly overproduced. That is what long form is for, right? And so there's this thing of like low quality high output, or high quality low output, right? Those are kind of like the two sides of the coin. You can do incredibly, like, spend 2 hours editing a video. It's incredibly beautiful, but you can only put out so much of it. But if you put out low quality, i.e. like it's not super edited, it's not super produced, you can put out a lot of it. Okay. Yeah, and I don't think TikTok's gonna get banned. But that's just, I don't know. I think it's just, we keep thinking it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. We'll see. I think that's all the questions we had. Okay. Oh no. Dream's gone. I wanted to do long form content for the short form. I was thinking of taking something from my script for something from my script that turn that into short form content. How's it sound? Yeah, if you make long, I mean, here's the thing. If you make long form and then you rip that into short form, that's fantastic. That's what a lot of people do. And I do that all the time. I think that is a great idea. Okay, cool. So the first part of homework is 2 ideas of things to search on short text platforms, Threads, Blue Sky, or Twitter, that can help you find conversations to engage in. So you're going to find some search terms. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to write 2 captions that you're going to add into future videos that you think will help you with a passive presence, because they are commonly searched things that you think will help get your videos more views in the over time, right? So for example, start playing, find a D&D game, right? That's one of our greatest one, right? Find a D&D game online, find a D&D group, find a D&D group online. You're gonna come up with 2 that you're going to make videos about. You don't have to make the videos by next Thursday, but you have to have the captions. So this time we're going to make captions first and videos second, right? And then you're going to come up with 3 ideas for a Reddit post that will help you have a passive presence as a professional game master. So if you have questions about those, put them in chat and we can talk about it before we wrap up here. Okay, what exactly are captions? Great question. Let's go ahead. All right. So, a lot of the times, people think when I say captions, they're thinking about this.
So get your geek on.
Closed captioning, right? Or the captions that show up here.
Game masters often put so much.
Those are really subtitles, right? What I mean by the caption is down here where it says perfect is the opposite of joy, right? This is what I mean by caption. This is what you're gonna write, because that's what's searchable. Again, I'm gonna step away from my mic, but I'm gonna show you again. Play D&D online. I'm gonna show you my phone. Actually, I'm stupid. We can just search here. All right, find D&D online. Okay, so I'm searching here. Oh, we're on YouTube. Sorry. Find D&D. Find D&D online. Okay. So we see, oh my gosh, look at this. Diana, first video that shows up. So I wonder what this is.
Powerful websites you should know, part 216.
Oh, this is.
Did you know if you go to this website?
That isn't even how to find a D&D game.
So Dungeons and Dragons is experiencing a.
Okay. So this is the great video about Diana talking about us. But if we go here, we have this. Oh, are we still live? Oh, my Google. Oh, there it is. Look at this caption, right? This isn't a paid promotion video, by the way. I wanted to be able to collab with Start Playing to make a community, being safe. This is even better. This video doesn't even have the caption in here, and it's ranking for finding a D&D game online, which is like insane. Let's see, we got this one here. find online D&D games and groups and start playing. Look at this. Oh, fantastic. This is was it D&D's official channel with a video that Zach made for us, and it says find online D&D games and groups. This is the caption, and then it references us. And so when people go and search those terms, we're showing up because of our video. Okay. Let me go back and hide this. Okay. Now, questions if you have them. What exactly are captions? How to make RPG travel exciting? Yep, great caption. But again, think about what your future, well, whoever you want to watch your videos, think about what they are searching, right? Because if you feel like your customer is searching how to make RPG travel exciting, then that's what I would do. But do you think that that's what your customer is searching? Okay, cool. All right, team, I think that's it. So again, you're gonna put together your homework is put together 2 search terms that you can use to find on short, like microblogging platforms like Threads, Twitter, Blue Sky, that you can search for conversations that you could engage in and provide expertise in, right? Not just to sell, but to provide your expertise in. And then we're going to write 2 captions that you think have a high search visibility for you as a professional game master. And then lastly, 3 ideas for a Reddit post. And if you have questions after this, you can hit me in the Discord. I'm happy to answer those. But this week is all brainstorming, right? It's all thoughts. By next Thursday for the work from home as per usual. Yes, Dragon Dice, that is by next Thursday. So for Reddit, Blue Sky, Threads, or X, Dreams, there's an idea for 3 Reddit posts. Microblogging is just Threads, Blue Sky, or Twitter. So that's the search terms of things you can engage in. Okay, cool. Team, thank you so much. This is a pleasure. Happy New Year again. And I will see all of you on the Discord. And I'll see you again here next week. All right. Thanks so much, team. See you soon. Bye.
About the old prophecy, and we all sing songs at the tavern of the fights that we have won, and we dream about our next victory. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain, but before we go, let's drink one more ale. Well, we won't burn down the tavern like the times we did before. It was not our fault, we swear honestly, but we'll do our